Jimmy Lewis.
Who you talking about? Jimmy Witherspoon? Nobody knew who he was.
Lewis.
Jimmy.
Who's this Jimmy?
Lewis.
Jimmy.
Who's this Jimmy?
Jimmy Lewis.
Who's this Jimmy?
Lewis.
Who's this Jimmy?
Lewis. 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 Jimmy Lewis. Lewis. Jimmy Lewis. 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 Jimmy Lewis. Lewis. Jimmy Lewis. Lewis.
It just kept on going.
Live from Pahrump, Nevada, the Valley of the Dirt People, it's Tech Talk Taco Tuesday with your hosts, Jimmy Lewis and Logan Tyler.
Welcome, everybody. Yeah, Valley of the Dirt People. How's it going, Logan?
Good.
This is the show where we talk about what?
Dirt bikes and motorcycles and motorcycle related products.
It can be dirt bikes. It can be dirt bikes and motorcycle related products, or motorcycle and dirt bike related products. I just, because some people, they don't realize that their dirt bike is a motorcycle and vice versa.
Yeah.
So, do you ever go to family? Now your family's pretty moto oriented. Did you ever go to? I had this happen all the time. You go to like a family function or something like that with kind of some, we'll call them outsiders. They don't really know exactly what you do, and then they're the kind of, it's like it'd be like your grandma sending you a Harley, a pillow shaped like a Harley, and because it's a motorcycle. Yeah. So you ever have that happen? Like they'll give you a T-shirt.
Yeah, like with my grandma actually.
Yeah, with Harley. Yeah, it's okay. They know it's two wheels. It's all cool. So we are going to dive right into it. This show is brought to you by Taco Moto Co. on the webs. That's CO. Don't use the M. And they make all kinds of stuff for your emissions compliant bikes. That's what they specialize in. And they're getting into Hondas now. So if you don't want to ride the KTM 500, which is the bike you should ride because it's the best bike for everybody, if you ask me, because that's what I say all the time, evidently, then you can have a Honda CR450L, and now he's starting to get you some modified products for that. So Taco Mike can probably answer your questions and take care of stuff. What else do we have? Climb.
Yes.
Have you seen the new Dakar gear colors yet?
No, I have not.
Why not?
Because I haven't seen you wear them.
Oh, well, that's good because leads right into that. That means they need to send them to me. I
Yeah.
need some new Climb colors. I have the old colorways, but I've been wearing moto gear lately, so haven't been doing a ton on the off-road stuff. It's a little bit too hot out here, but I did request some of the new colorways for some photo shoots I have coming up, so you'll be seeing those soon. But you should don't you look on the Instagrams or what do you do all the time with your phone? What are you doing when you're doing this?
Googling answers to homework.
Googling answers to homework.
That's what Cheg's for.
That's what we do these days.
Also, producer Matt here.
Yeah, welcome to the show, Matt. Do I have to introduce
glad to
you?
be here.
You need, do,
Well,
you,
maybe.
do you require? I
maybe.
handed you a check,
You did hand me a check. Yeah, it was nice.
so just shut up.
You just pay me to sit here and shut
Just
up.
take money, keep making things happen. I see we have a special guest.
Yeah, there's a special guest.
We have a special guest we can bring onto the show, but actually we should bring him on the show because he quite possibly is more knowledgeable than I am, at least about certain things. I know about certain things because our guest is Ron Lawson, who is he'll have to explain exactly what he is at Dirt Bike Magazine because we stole like 3/4 of their name. They're Dirt Bike Magazine and we're Dirt Bike Test, but Ron has been
All right, I'll bring him on the show.
Oh no, we're confusing everybody now.
Wait, now we're confusing everybody.
I can make anything more confusing and worse. So Ron is he'll tell you exactly what he is at Dirt Bike. I think he's the editor in chief of Dirt Bike Magazine. He was at Cycle World Magazine long before I was. When I was a runt about your age, a little bit older than you. I tried to bum test bikes from him because I was trying to figure out how I could get free motorcycles some way, shape, or form. And he was at Cycle World at the time, and little did I know that I would actually follow a little bit in his footsteps editorially, and then pioneer new ground for racing because we did race together a few times as well. Horrible experiences, right, Ron? Except for that one time on the KLX 650, which I was telling the story to somebody.
Whoa.
Oh no, this show can go on forever. We don't have time limits. What happened, Matt? Did you break it already?
Yeah, one second. I'm going to switch it back to you really quick. I don't know what just happened. What just happened? Sorry, we're
Right.
having some technical difficulties all of a sudden.
Yeah, I was picking up like the
Yeah, it suddenly
docks.
switched screens for me.
It's back.
We're back.
Well, it's probably.
Well, it's on the widescreen right
By
now.
now
I'm trying to
it's-
figure out what just happened.
Well, then just figure it out and don't talk. I'll talk. Me and Ron will have a little chat. Ron, do you have a beer? Because actually, I have a beer. I almost had. No, this is a High Life. This is a champagne of beers.
I don't think people can hear him right now.
They can't hear him yet.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I can. Can he? Maybe is he on the screen? Did you pull him up on the screen?
So I'm trying to figure out exactly what's going on right now. The screen capture just totally switched off to something else.
Yeah,
Okay.
the Google
I don't know what just happened to the
page.
switch.
I think Ron's gonna have to use sign language. Is what's gonna have to happen. You're gonna have to sign your answers, and I'm gonna have to translate. Actually, you're probably gonna say something good about yourself, and then that's why we cut you off.
Okay, we should be good.
We should be good now.
Okay.
This is technology. I don't
Yeah.
understand how any of this works. I just host this show. Logan, do you know who Ron is?
No,
Did you see him at the Alpine Stars gear intro
I haven't really seen him
before? Do you even
Well,
know which guy
right
he is?
now. So yeah.
Right. So this is what happens. These kids, Ron, they don't know who you are. So let's get back into like how I probably. Right, but you weren't much older. How? Yeah. So I was at the Nevada rally. I was having problems with my clutch burning up, and the reason this kind of came up just recently is I had a quad team here that had a super high powered Yamaha. What's the? It's not the 450. What's the next one up? The Raptor with the 660 motor in it. 700, yeah, because they make it into something bigger and stuff, and they had this clutch in there. There was a locker clutch. It was a real interesting thing, and I'm like, well, that's really good and really bad, because if you lock it up, then you start breaking gears, and they go, oh yeah, we've had this happen, and I go, and I knew about like clutches, how they slip when you're wide open because they just can't pull the gears, and so they had this locker clutch thing in there, and of course it caused breaking transmissions and all kinds of other stuff. But that's what I was on a KLX 650. It was actually a really good bike for the Nevada rally, except it would smoke the clutch every day, and then I would blow up, and then would have to fix it, and then Ron would start ahead of me, and I'd catch him, and he was the hardest guy in the world at the Nevada rally to pass ever. So I think I told Heather to throw all your gear out on the side of the road someplace.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. I was on the
Audio for
fastest
Ron right now.
motorcycle ever made. I was on a.
I don't know what's going on with this thing. It was working before. Oh.
Are we there?
I
he was.
think it suddenly just fixed. I think it suddenly just got fixed.
Yeah, don't ring the bell. Just
I'm not gonna ring the bell.
be quiet and let Ron talk. You're on a what? KTM what?
I was on a 552 stroke.
Oh,
It was. Everybody else was on 4 strokes for that race because 4 strokes were kind of cool at the time, and we thought at the time that 2 strokes were uncool. Things would change.
yeah.
And so, but I wanted to ride the fastest motorcycle made, so I got a KTM 550. What I didn't know was I would be the only one of those in the race, and there wouldn't be a single spare part anywhere. So I blew out the shock on the first day, and I had Gary Jones rebuilding the shock every single night, and he didn't have the right tools to do it, so I didn't have any damping for whatever it was, 2,000 miles in the rear shock.
Right.
But that wasn't the cause of our problems.
What was the cause of our problems? Other than I couldn't get by you. I remember I hated you after that. I mean, there was a blistering amount of hate that it's hard to really explain.
It's because I would be starting last, and you would be starting first one day, and then starting last the next because you broke down every other day.
No, I broke down pretty much every day, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe we were on alternating cycles or something like that, but yeah, and then I think, yeah, you know what? I bet you what pissed me off, now you start talking about, I bet you your bike threw a lot of roost, like a lot of rocks.
It was a 552 stroke. It made like 70 horsepower.
Yeah. Yeah, mine was mine. I couldn't hold it wide open. I could only hold it about 3/4 open because if I held it wide open, it would just the clutch would just go out. So, good.
Your bike made about 30 horsepower, but at least it weighed 400 pounds.
Yes. So Ron, what we do on this show, I know because I'm sure I didn't see top fan logo come up when we got you on there, so I have to probably explain this to you. We answer people's motorcycle questions, so we basically kind of like live on the show. And Logan, this is what Logan does. Logan doesn't just sit here and look pretty. But he did bring his ex-girlfriend into the show tonight. She's looking pretty sweet over there, smiling at us and everything. I don't know what happened. Oh, you got the questions?
Yeah.
You got them on your phone. So we're going to start. What did Todd Kelly have to say? And feel free to chime in and answer these questions. Evidently, this question we got asked last week, and we were accused of not answering it.
But maybe it got overlooked. What would be considered too long on pavement or too fast for a moose? Is a moose a bad idea for a BDR dual sport kind of ride in Colorado on a 450? I'm looking to run light without pneumatic tools / parts and avoid flats, obviously. I have my bike set up ready to go for the trip next week with a Techno Moose Enduro rear with the Tusk Disport and regular Nitro Moose up front in the Tusk Soft / intermediate tire. I added extra nitro lube in the tires. Just didn't want to have a failure because I ran too fast for too long on the tarmac.
So this week we got way more information on this question. I mean, he told us what tires and a lot of other stuff. Because do you remember we answered this?
Yes.
And I said it's not a big deal. You can run a moose in dual sport like applications as long as you're not like pinning. I mean, they run them in rallies, so that's kind of like worse than dual sport conditions. I'm a little if it's the Techno Moose, and I haven't used one of these for a long time, but those were kind of like more plastic, and those didn't like a lot of heat cycles. So if you're doing like 5 or 6 days on it, I remember that those ones kind of deteriorated after like 3 days. It didn't really matter how much you rode them each day. It was the heat cycles, but I know the Nitro Mooses are good. The Michelin ones are good. So extra lube in the tires is good. Those tires should be fine. I wouldn't worry about it. So now we took twice as long to answer that question as we did last week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully he heard it this time. He probably went and got a beer and came back, and we'd already passed through his question because there's no other way you could stand this show.
John's Solmier.
Hey Ron, you gotta be patient with Logan. His reading skills. He just got back in school. He's only been reading for what, a week now?
2 days.
2 days.
'cause First week.
When was the last time he was actually in a classroom?
Last year. I was back for all of last year.
But that wasn't in a
But-
classroom. Oh no, you went half the time, right?
Yeah, half the time.
So it
And
was
then at the second half of the year, I went all the time.
okay. I hardly even noticed. His dad's over here shaking his head, calling BS. So last week didn't count for school. It was like just practicing going to school.
What most of the safety procedures and what we do in the class and how the grading is.
Do you feel safe?
Well, not with me in the class, but yeah, most I feel safe. But
Confidence inspiring. Okay, what is Joe Scholmeyer want?
where is the Triumph? Surely someone has leaked some information or a photo out there among our friends.
I've been digging around for this and talking to people, and no, I haven't seen anything. You're a credible journalist, right, Ron?
That's what you say.
Well, shouldn't you be diving in as you are probably the largest off-road dirt bike magazine in the world right now?
Yeah, it's maybe the largest motorcycle magazine. I don't know how big is Ryder.
Ooh, Ryder has a. I don't remember. I remember used to seeing those numbers, but once I moved over to Dirt Rider, when we were the largest motorcycle off-road motorcycle publication, yeah, Ryder probably has you beat. But are you guys bigger than MXA?
We're about the same. I mean, there's some months that we're in front of them, but it's all because we alternate the same distributors, and people basically never know where to find a print magazine anymore. You can find them, in any Barnes and Noble, but beyond that, I don't think Barnes and Nobles are even open.
They have them on the newsstand out here in Pahrump. You can get Dirt Bike Magazine in the Pahrump Smiths. I've seen that for sure. I mean,
that's
people
where
here. That's where don't you ever get those charts that show you where all the magazines sell and stuff like that, or they don't do that? Yeah. Yeah, we used to get all that kind of information and everything, and then they'd have all the guys upstairs would have all these crazy ideas. Well, we're selling a lot of magazines up in Seattle, so maybe shouldn't we have more of a grunge look? Yeah. Like,
I think
yeah.
they make sure that it's the Stater Brothers near my house, and that's about all they care about.
Yeah.
Makes
So you feel like you're doing that. So you haven't dug up any info on the Triumph, or you're not willing to share it? You have it's like under embargo till the next issue.
No, I don't really have much of a relationship with Triumph. A few years ago, we talked a lot with those guys. We tested one of their bikes, but I didn't even know anything about the new Triumph until it hit. I did dig up a picture of the Buell, and just to reminisce about what happens when street bike companies get involved with dirt bikes. And I'm really hoping it goes better than that.
Yeah, I saw a picture of that, but it's been a long time now, right?
It was an awesome looking bike. For people who don't remember what Buell was it was kind of a sport bike powered by a Harley Davidson motor. And they decided that Harley Davidson actually bought the company out, and it was a part of Harley Davidson for a while. And then Eric Buell decided they were going to make dirt bikes, and they hired some pretty formidable people. You remember, did you work at Cycle World when Steve Anderson was there?
Yep.
Well, Steve Anderson was involved with that project pretty deeply.
Yeah, and I know some people on the motorcycle development side. They were working with race teams and stuff that were, kind of advising or consulting on that project as well.
So for years that was really secret. No one saw a picture of the Buell, and then eventually it crumbled before the bike ever reached market. And then Steve once showed me a picture of it on his phone, and he wouldn't let me have it. But years later, it surfaced, and the bike was pretty good for the day. We're talking about 2005 or something like that.
Really, was that recent? I thought it was. Yeah, I guess it would have been that, because I would have been at Dirt Rider, and I knew they were doing stuff, and we were just kind of waiting for something to kind of pop, because it was after the Cannondale, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what soured that whole thing, is like all the success that Cannondale had with making that motorcycle. That now it's funny how.
That was mostly a stock market collapse more than it was a terrible motorcycle, but we all liked it because it was straight.
Well, some of us. I think if you still own one, it's probably the map that's in your ECU is a map that I designed or developed, because I actually had one that wouldn't stall, which was kind of strange. That bike was kind of notorious for stalling, and I kind of was able to play around with my Palm. And we know what a Palm is. It's exactly like that thing, but a wire comes out of it, and it has the computing power of the space shuttle. And yeah, real slow. So, anyways,
Dirt Rider Bike of the Year.
Well, that was before me. I had nothing to do with that, even though I did like the Cannondale. It had some redeeming qualities. I saw things like, I saw advantages in this strange concept to spin the motor around backwards. I thought that would actually be a good thing, and having the airbox up high, kind of in front of you. Didn't see anything wrong with that. No problem programming it through my phone or my device. I thought that was pretty cool stuff. I don't have any issues with aluminum frames, but I like Husabergs. Ron, do you like Husabergs 570s?
You know, the Husaberg with the stacked up motor.
Yeah.
Actually, it was after the KTM era, but that was a very great. One of those bikes would hold up well today.
The 570.
Well, they made several different sizes, didn't they?
Yeah, they had there was a 350, a three. No, I'm sorry, not three. They had a 390, a 450, and a 570. And I still have two 570s. You probably wouldn't know this. Every once in a while I affectionately refer to them. Yeah, because I like talking about them because it has. You know how when you ride out in the desert and there's hoop-de-doos, Ron, just like endless sets of hoop-de-doos. I had to explain to somebody how those occur, and they thought because the Husaberg was just there, like digging holes, and throwing a lot of dirt. But in reality, have you ever had like a carpet or something like that, and you push on one end and it slides and it ripples?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, like the carpet bunches up or something. Like that's what the Husaberg does to the earth. That's how much power this 570 has, and it's probably like that 550 you were talking about earlier. It just has so much power. It literally it stretches and coils, kind of rubber bands the earth back up. Yeah, that's where hoops come from.
What era is the 570? Are you talking about the ones that look like Captain Nemo, the submarine, the novelist?
No, that was the last generation of the real Husabergs. So that was like mine is it's 2008 to 2000, I think 12 is when they were building the 70-degree motor is what it was called. But yeah, even the older ones back then, they made some power. Those were good bikes. So
yeah, no, that'll be a footnote pretty soon. No one will believe that motor actually existed. You need to hang on to those.
Yeah, they're as long as you don't have to work on them, they're great bikes. What does Derek Perez want to know?
Bought an Apollo 125 RFZ from a guy. Yeah, I should have spent a little more time to get something better, but have you ridden one and thoughts on how they perform?
So, Derek Perez, let's see. He bought are you familiar with the Apollo 125 RFZ, Ron?
I'm assuming that it's a modern Chinese brand. There was an Apollo 40, 50 years ago that I don't remember anything about other than it exists. I think it was a Briggs & Stratton motor. But I'm thinking that that's probably an Asian.
Yeah, I mean, don't you have the? Do you still have to do the buyer's guide, the Dirt Bike Magazine buyer's guide?
Yeah, but you've got to have a pretty quick shutter speed to catch all the Chinese bikes as they come and go. I'm not saying that the Apollo isn't a fine motorcycle. I'm just saying I really don't know exactly what it is.
Well, here's this is the kind of question we get on this show. So he bought it from a guy. That's he didn't buy it from the Apollo dealer or anything. He bought it from a guy. The guy may have bought the bike or bought 10 of them from Amazon and imported them over, and so and I'm not really super familiar with the Apollo 125, and I don't have the arduous task of producing a buyer's guide and knowing about every single motorcycle that's known to man. So he should have spent a little more to get something better. That's a tell sign right there.
Yeah, that's a danger sign. I'm thinking about it now. It wasn't an Apollo back then. The Gemini SST was what I was thinking about back in the day. Do you remember those?
No. Now you're starting to sound old, Ron. We're trying to keep the kids interested. Logan's pretty much ready to go to sleep. You ready to go to sleep? He's waiting for my snap answer for this guy, aren't you?
The what?
He's the snap answer, right? Well, what would you tell this guy?
I'm pretty sure you can buy them off Amazon.
Oh, did you already? Do you got one on order right now? Do you already? That's
No.
what you're doing there. You're ordering an Apollo because they're the new thing.
No, but I'm pretty sure I saw one pop up when I searched in the dirt bike.
What does it look
Post.
like?
I don't know. Probably.
A Zing Zang? Does it look
Pro-
like, or like KLX 125?
I don't know.
No, you don't know. He's buying one right now.
Polo motorcycle.
Well, here's the thing. He says, have you ridden one? No. And what are your thoughts on how they perform? Well, if he bought one, he should tell me how it performs. So Derek Perez, please submit us your ride report, and then we can then we'll know, and you can tell everybody else how it performs. Is it Papa Wheelie? What?
So I am pretty sure this is one of the bikes that we saw at Chaparral.
Oh, it's a pit bike.
Yeah,
They sell them at Chaparral,
I'm pretty sure.
or they sell it under a different name.
Apollo at, I think it's called Apollo at
Oh.
Chaparral. They have a
Matt, you didn't know about this?
Japanese.
What?
You didn't know about the Apollo bike?
No, unaware of that. I've been frantically making sure whatever happened doesn't happen again.
Okay, that's good.
Because I honestly, I'm still trying to figure out what happened.
I hope you can fix the squeaky sound in post. The scratchy noise. You're probably not hearing it. You hearing it? You kind of hear it sounds like the wind. Oh, it
That
better
wind.
not be that. I'll get pissed off if it's that.
Should we turn it off?
Yeah. Have your ex-girlfriend get the clicker.
So
or
I
you
am-
or since she's your ex-girlfriend, she doesn't have to listen to you anymore.
I don't know. You can buy one of those bikes for $618.
$618 brand new Apollo 125. Now you know. So okay. Scott Zendel says, please ask Yamaha to make the 350. Ron, did you do this for Scott? Did you ask Yamaha to make a 350?
I think that so many people have been down that road and they've gotten the same answer and over again that no one bothers to ask anymore. It's
Maybe
it's just good news for Austria.
Maybe as esteemed motorcycle journalists, we shouldn't ask. We should tell Yamaha to make a 350, right? Wouldn't that be our job?
I've tried telling them many things on many occasions, and they will, if they already were doing it, then they usually will stop doing it after I talk about it.
What if we get Jody on board? You think? I mean, you work in the same building as Jody, right?
Well, no one really works in that building anymore, but I live in the same town as Jody. I was at his house not more than a couple hours ago.
And so if you're curious, we're speaking about Jody Weisel of Motocross Action Magazine, and so I bet you if Jody told Yamaha to make a 350, then maybe they would, right?
Yeah, you would have to have a Rotax motor,
A Rotax.
and Horst Leitner would have to design it.
Ooh, yeah, and it'd have to have a countershaft / countershaft sprocket disc brake, and a chain torque elimination system.
There's find a picture of an ATK 406, and that's what it would have to be. Not a 350, a 406.
Uh-huh.
We're probably working on that project.
Yeah. Hey, Ron, you probably can't. This tonight we always talk about a tequila that we're drinking. Oh, another shot glass kind of migrated onto the table. Tonight we're having tequila Cincoro, and so this is our tequila of the night. I'll tell you how it is in a few minutes. This is courtesy of Jimmy Tyler, Logan's dad. Gave this to us at our final off-road class of the season this year, when we were celebrating wrapping up our season. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I thank you very much for that. And by the way, this show couldn't be possible without the support of Jimmy Lewis Off-Road Training, right, Logan?
Yes.
What do we do at that school?
We teach people how to ride dirt bikes.
We make you a better rider.
Yes.
Yeah, through a series of extensive, well-rehearsed drills and training techniques. It's magic on the motorcycle, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so hold on.
It's like a magic wand.
Yeah, you start talking.
So, Scott Zundel. Oh, that one's already done.
Yeah, well, Scott, so I have asked Yamaha to make a 350. If any other company made a 350, Yamaha would be the best one. I mean, imagine that motor architecture and the way that 250 runs, and that would be a really good motorcycle.
Well, somebody told them to build a new 125 two-stroke, and they kind of did.
Did I tell them that?
I think that I'm going to say yeah.
Okay. Because I still ride my 2005 YZ125, and it's almost identical to the 2021. But I'm excited about the 2022. And in fact, I promised I wouldn't break an embargo if they got me one to test for long term.
And
So,
did it?
I don't have it yet. So,
What
okay,
embargoes have you broken lately?
I'm trying to break all of them. That way, I don't have to go to these intros anymore. I'll get uninvited. Actually, we're going to talk about the new YZ250F and the 2022 YZ250F and YZ450F tonight, but we're not going to talk about the 2022s. We're going to talk about the 2021s. If somebody asks questions about them, we're going to talk about the 2021s because they're pretty much the same. And I could get if you took one of those and you made some suspension changes and changed the rear wheel, then I could probably infer how the bike would work. And I have to wait till Thursday to ride anything.
Well, don't tell me anything about the rear wheel.
Oh, why? You didn't feel it?
It's new. I can't. You're under sworn secrecy not to say anything about the rear wheel.
I think they announced that though.
Well,
Isn't that
how it works though.
Oh, I don't know how it works. I mean, how are you going to feel a rear wheel?
I saw you riding it.
I rode it a lot. I probably rode it more than anybody else that day.
Did you ride the 450 very much?
Rode them both.
Okay.
I did four solid motos. How many did I do? At least 4 motos?
Oh, at least, yeah. No, you rode a lot.
Yeah, I did 4 motos, I think.
I tried to ride as much as you, but my hands started to blister up.
Keep working on that computer. Just keep punch keys over there.
But dirt bikes are fun.
Yeah. Okay, what does Chris Smith want to know?
I know you had an issue comparing bikes because it had been a while and you're not side by side. That's what the strengths and weaknesses. What are the strengths and weaknesses between the YZ250F and new CRF 250?
Okay, so we can talk about the new CRF. You haven't ridden the new CRF 250. You sent Mark Tilley up there for that one, right?
Yeah, but I just picked it up today, so I get to ride it this weekend.
Okay, and we can talk about this one. So as an esteemed motorcycle journalist, how did it feel like rolling it back up in the truck? Because I mean, that's half the test.
I've got my
days.
pen out to hear you talk about what you think of it now, so I know what to think.
Oh, well, but I mean, any good Instafluencer, like they pretty much have most of the evaluation done by the time the tie downs actually hit the handlebars. I think. I mean, they snap a couple pretty banger photos of those things, and most of the tests, remember how you used to go to you get to the track and you go do your photos. The first thing you do is go find the back of the berm where it's all the soft dirt is fluffed off from the track on the backside of the berm. You just go do a pivot turn and a big roost. Every cover shot I ever got on Dirt Bike Magazine, I meant.
The backside of the berm and then the dirt bomb. Did we ever do a dirt bomb?
Oh, me and you, like we played the dirt bomb out. Like nobody could even do that anymore because we overdid it. We ruined it. And actually, the fact that we're talking about it right now, there's going to be some face grammars or whatever they're called. They're going to learn that trick, and bang, you're going to see it.
It's going to come back.
It's new. Old is new again. I promise you.
You might have to explain to Logan the dirt bomb.
So what happens?
Takes at least 3 people.
It takes 3 people. So what happens? He knows a little bit about this because he's seen me do it like on sand dunes where I'll make a rut and I'll jump up the rut. I've had you do it before. Jump up the rut so your feet drag dirt up. And so when you're doing the photo, you see dirt exploding like when you're doing the jump. So
Yeah.
So the dirt bomb is you get your jump or whatever you're going to do. You get it all set up, and the photographer gets all set up. And mind you, this is back in the day when they had film, so they had like crank the camera, then wind the camera up and stuff, and they had to put the gunpowder in the flash tubes and all that thing. But so you get it all set up, and you do the jump, and then Ron would stand there, and I'd be on the motorcycle. I'd do the jump, and he'd throw a big giant bucket of dirt at me. and he'd try to hit you like right in the kind of the cases, and it was tricky. It was tricky to do. But you now you go back and you look at all these photos in the magazine where you see this dirt exploding, and you're like, wow, look at that thing. It's just exploding.
Do you remember Craig Mason?
Oh, yeah.
He was the master of the dirt bomb because he didn't care how many rocks hit his knuckles, because you wouldn't even have to sift the sand and the dirt. I mean, because rocks looked better when they were flying and bouncing off, faces and everything.
Yeah,
And
see,
Craig would just smile and deal with it no matter how much he bled.
yeah, and I knew better because I could, me and the photographer had some sort of like, sign language. If we'd figured out, we'd already know we got the banger. But Ron couldn't help himself to say one more, and then he'd throw it up in your face. So you'd be doing it, and the dirt would all of a sudden be 3 feet higher than it was before, and it'd be blasting off of your face. You've never
I
done
tried
that.
to bring back the dirt bomb a few times, but people aren't, they just don't have a sense of humor like they used to.
Sense of humor, pain tolerance. Yes. So Brock Suter, who is another Pahrump local out here. Brock lives out here in Pahrump. Used to race mini bikes against him back in Indian Dunes. He wants to know if the Yamaha, does it come in any other colors? Do you know the answer,
Yes, it
Logan?
does.
The Monster Edition,
Yeah. How did you know that?
Chaparral.
Oh, jeez.
There's also one at Alpine Star.
Yeah,
They had a monster one there?
They had, yeah, it was a 450.
But were those this year's or were they last year's?
They were 21s.
They were 21s. I was saying I didn't think they would have brand new ones out there. Yep, Brock, it comes in the Monster Edition, and then I'm sure you can buy any color you want. Well, Ron, I think I'm going to have you stick around for our next segment. We have this other segment here. We call it Roost or Endo. You got time? You're not pending on any of those.
Sure, I don't have a lot.
And I'm worried about your deadlines.
Oh yeah, I got Mark Tilley. He's fine.
So what are you the editor in chief, the co-editor?
I haven't picked up a magazine. Here, I'll pick one up.
Hold it up on the screen so everybody can see, because they might recognize the logo because nobody reads anymore. Oh, is that Tear Sheets? Are we not allowed to see that yet? Are we getting
This
a
is how
preview?
magazines, when they're baby magazines, before they grow up, this is what they look like.
The Syncura has a nice smoky flavor. I like it. Yeah, it's good.
I'm a big fan.
I'm the editor. There's lots of editors.
There's two editors, right? Tom Webb is the editor.
He's an editor, yeah. I think Mark
Yeah.
Tilley's. We're just editors.
Just editors. Like they used to want me to call myself an editor in chief, and I just refused because I came from someplace where I had an editor in chief, and I felt it was a little pompous.
Mr. Edwards, he was
He liked that though.
He liked it, yeah.
He was good with the chief. He had no problem with the chief.
yeah.
So you're gonna grab the board, Logan?
Yeah.
So we have this board that Logan magically constructed, and what we have is we have our readers send in. They send in pictures and descriptions of their bike, and then we tell them whether their bike roosts or endos. And so, endo would be bad. And can you kind of see the board here?
I do. I
Okay,
don't
so the board
understand.
here. So over here, well, it's just a bunch of different bikes that people have sent us, and over here on this end, this is an ATC 185 that one of my coaches at the school sent in, and this is a horrible vehicle, but he sent it in and thought we would like it or something. And there's also an XL 125 that caught on fire inside of a trailer. That's down here because those bikes really endo. And then up at the high end, there's a really nice TT Yamaha TT 500. It's underneath a couple others right now. Way up there, there's some really well set up. There's bikes that have won Ironman Expert at Vegas to Reno. There's a guy that has a pretty cool KDX 220, I think it was, or 200 or 220.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, KDX 200. Yeah, that's a roost for sure. And then I don't know if you noticed, there's one way at the kind of on the far end. It's kind of off the scale. Well, like
It's got a little extension. there.
yeah, that is the Husaberg 570. That's my
Oh.
Husaberg 570, just to set the scale. So where your bike may end up. So Logan, what are we
Well,
starting
how
out
many
with?
bikes do you own right now? Just not to, let's see where they all would wind up on the Roost Indo scale.
Oh, most of them would be like if it's a KTM 500, it'd probably be at the middle or it'd be in the Roost zone because I have a lot of those, but I have a lot of rental bikes. I have a lot of KTM RFS bikes and stuff, and those would kind of because they have carburetors on them, they'd be down here a little more. But they're all for sale. If you want to buy a nice KTM carbureted RFS bike, I'm actually going to buy another one in a couple days. I got a line on a 520. But yeah, most of mine would be in kind of in this zone here. I don't have a KTM TPI bike because it'd be way up here for sure if it was mine. Logan
Nothing down
just
in the Indo. Nothing for Heather. Nothing way down there. A lot of
there's a
KDX 200s in the past, as I recall.
well, the KDX 200. It's up here. I mean, this guy.
Okay.
He was a value-minded guy. He gave us the specs on it. It was okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was in a good mood too. Because there's some really nice bikes down here, but it was on the wrong day.
We need justice for that CR.
The tequila maybe hadn't kicked in, or I was sitting in an airport with a mask on trying to do this show, and it didn't work out. So what's our first bike, Logan? What do we got?
Craig Alberts. with-
Craig Alberts, a 1967 Suzuki Bearcat. Good God, hold the picture up.
This thing's sweet. Yeah.
Whoa! Oh, I thought it was going to be a pile of crap. Look at
People
that.
on live stream should be able to see it now.
That is a really nice chariot. Hold, I have to look at it because I can't see the live stream.
That
That
looks
looks
like
like
for Ron too, because I don't know if Ron can see it.
that looks like a Honda CL. Yeah, hold it up here. You can go to my camera and you can probably get a good view on that. If you don't want
I
to
think
break
that
it.
has a
I
dual
don't
range
wanna touch
transmission.
anything right now.
Yeah, it's like didn't Honda what was there like a CL 125 or something that they used to have?
Well, that's going to be a two-stroke there, though.
Yeah.
And is it a twin?
No, it's a single.
No.
He changed out the rear knobby for a street tire due to it having almost as much power as a 570 Husaberg. Oh, Craig, you just hold on.
I think he has one, a 570.
Craig Albert has a 570?
If I'm thinking of the right dude.
Yeah, I think he does. But he just compared it to it just drifted way the heck down here. Get a pin. Ron, do you know anything about this? Did you ride these in your childhood?
In my garage right now, I have a 1967 Suzuki. It's not that one.
Oh.
It's a 305 Raider.
Well, you can if it's are you restoring it?
I haven't yet. What happened was my buddy Mark Dooley has a bunch of old junk motorcycles, and every
Uh-huh.
time I went to his shop at DG, I would express interest in that. And one time we went to lunch, and he had someone with a forklift dump it in the back of my truck when we got back because he didn't want to look at it anymore. And now
Does
it's leaking in my garage.
Does it work?
No, it doesn't have anything that works.
Craig, don't compare anything to the Husaberg 570. You will feel the wrath. That looks like a pretty sweet little. I mean, that's a nice bike. There's some history there. I'll bet you I could jump it and break it in half, though. Almost positive. Okay, what does Mike Rocco have?
A 2018.
Hey, you've done this enough now. You know how this works. You hold up the picture, you hand me the thing, and I'll list it off here. Do you need an instruction manual for Rooster Endo?
No, you kind of stole the. I say the name and then.
Oh, you
Snyder-
say the name, and then I say.
I don't know.
How am I supposed to remember this thing? We invented it on the fly.
Do you need a manual for?
Yeah, I need a
Mr.
manual.
Endo?
Mike Rocco has a 2018 KTM 6 Days EXCF 450.
That shouldn't be allowed. That's a cheater.
I have a 500. I have a mine's in Italy. Mine's a Portugal.
Yeah,
Yeah. So where is this one from, Logan?
it's France.
France. He's got a France. Seat concept comfort seat, P3 carbon pipe guard, MME clutch. I don't know what that is. Do you know what MME clutch is?
No.
No, neither do I. ASV brake levers. We know what those are.
Yeah.
Cyclops headlight, Fastway Evo pegs, Polysport ignition and swing arm protectors. sick ass rear taillight and turn signals, and trail bound rubber tie downs for spare tools and gas.
Did you see the 450 EXE 6 days edition is gone forever? They now it's just a 500 like the regular edition. So
Huh.
the 450, if that's a 450,
That's a
I-
now it's a collector's item.
yeah.
Yeah. I know a lot of people that like the 450s better than the 500s.
Yeah, I think most people.
I don't. Well, I like Husabergs too, but no replacement for displacement. So like, why wouldn't you be pumping out an extra 50 cc's of horsepower? That's a good bike. That's gonna go on the roof side of the thing. You can decide where it goes over there, but I think my 500 Portugal is better because
Is it a Portugal, or did he switch the plastics from a France?
no, it's a Portugal because
Okay.
it's a 2021, and that's a Portugal. Because this year they're going to Italy. This year is Italy again.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he bought a 21. He bought what did Jim buy? An Erzberg? An Italy Erzberg?
I don't. That's his 300.
Yeah. So the 21s are Italy's because that's where they're going. That's where 6 days is in a few weeks, and that's a good setup. Did the right modifications to it, not too much. I don't know what the rubber tie downs and spare tools or gas for. I don't know where
It's I think the fender, or the front fender.
they're like straps over the top or something
Yeah.
to hold stuff
A
down.
little bag.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me how we do this segment, Logan.
Eric Shepard.
Okay. And Eric Shepard has a 2016 I hope it's a KTM because he didn't write
Yeah.
it. He called it a 300XC, so it's a KTM 300XC. Olin's Fork and Shock. Okay. Seat Concepts Comfort Seat. Now I know why Seat Concepts is so on back order. Because everybody has their stuff on the bike. I know they're good. I just got two for my 500s. I got two of the Comfort what's the name of that material that I use? The one that's on the rally bikes. The neoprene. Is that what it is? Neoprene or no, not neoprene. It's Naugahyde. Suede seats.
Yeah.
So
They make an amazing suede.
so nice. I mean,
Their suede is so cherry.
it's the suede seat is so nice because it has grip. I mean, for out west, I don't know how they work in the mud. Although they work pretty good in the mud, but they don't like getting wet a whole lot because then they shrink up and do different things. He has a GPR stabilizer. He has flex bars. Those are Jimmy approved. Nitro Moose front and rear, and Kenda Parker desert tires. I think that these guys they throw like the stuff that I like in there to try to go higher up on the board, and it's gonna work. Yeah, because those tires and those flex bars are good. I would argue a little bit with the steering stabilizer choice, but that's my personal opinion.
These bikes are too good. They're so good. They're boring. We need to get some more. We need to get another Apollo in there.
This one, hold on. Oh, that's a Christini.
Oh, it's more different than a beta.
Yeah.
I only saw that.
Oh, that part.
Bit
It
of
just
it.
didn't look like a good bike. You can tell. So Logan can kind of like see, like the spec sheet is covering up half the bike, and he can see the bottom half, and he already knows that it's junk. He thinks it's junk. Good way to judge. Is that how you do your girls too?
Well, that bike doesn't look like. it
Yeah, are
has
you a
a
leg
side
man,
plate.
Logan? You a leg man? I forgot what we're doing. Oh, hey, the Olin's Shock and Forks and Shock. That's a good. Have you ridden a KTM with all Olin stuff on it, Ron?
No, I didn't. Olin's kind of a Yamaha company these days. If you want to get trick suspension for your KTM, almost everyone goes with cone valve stuff from WD.
Oh yeah, or now there's a lot of Kayaba conversions. They'll
Yeah.
throw Kayaba stuff inside that stuff. But no, I in 2008 I had a bike that was all set up with that Olin's TTX stuff and their fork. And you said you've ridden one, Jimmy? Yeah, good.
It was not set for me. So
Okay, yeah.
it was set up for a rider.
in all honesty, I know a lot of people complain about the XCs because they're not a fan, especially when the 4CS forks and good God 2016. I think they still did have those. They were better, but yeah, it's probably an improvement. That's good. I'm gonna just go slightly onto the roof side, but he does have a carburetor, and it probably does it have a Kickstarter on it too? Does it have electric start?
Wrong side.
You can't see it? Okay. Well, if it didn't have electric start, I'd move it down the board because I don't like riding even mini bikes without electric start.
So, Ron, I did just email you the pictures so that way you can actually, see them with us.
No, okay.
That could
The
be
pictures for the Rate My Bike. for
that could be
Mr. Indo.
confusing.
Yeah.
It's going to
opening
require
email.
multiple windows here.
What? Okay. What's our next one? How do we do this?
Ethan Yerkel.
Evan Yerkel.
Yeah.
Glad these pictures are super tiny. Oh, 2021 Beta 300 RR RE. What does RE mean?
Race edition?
Race edition. Okay, I thought they were RRs, like race replica. Hey, on that keyboard, where's is the E right next to the R?
Yes.
Oh, then you just typed it wrong. As a guy who types a lot, you'd think I would know where the keys are.
Well, you kind of type like one at a time, right?
It's the best way, I thought.
Well,
Isn't
there
that
is
what
a beta RRRE, though. With
Oh, there is an
RR
RRE.
and an RE.
What is an RE? Race
It's the
edition.
one without oil injection.
Oh.
And with closed cartridge for it.
Aren't they called? Oh, so they're all RRs.
They're all RRs, but then you add RE on the end, and it's
Then
the
it's
special.
then it's race edition. Okay, I thought that. Okay, yeah, you're right. See, don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking. I don't read the specs that much. I don't have to make a buyer's guide every year. IMS tank, FMF turbine core, tubeless system, hammerhead shifter, CR high bars, Cycra handguards, JD jetting, and a custom headlight. That sounds like a pretty good ride.
It does. I always wonder why anyone would badmouth oil injection, though. Because you lose it when you could go with the race edition. And you
I
hear
don't
some
think-
people saying, oh, yeah, I don't want that. And I love it.
I agree with you. I like fuel injection. I like oil injection. I like electric start. I like all these things. It makes the motorcycle just so much easier to own. And the one thing, so betas are not fuel injected yet, and their jetting on the bikes that we've tested lately has been just spot on, really good. And the difference between the one that you mix the gas on and the one that you don't is, let's say if you're riding on a tight trail for like 10 miles and you come out onto a road and you gas it, the one that you mix the gas on, I don't care how lean you mix the oil and stuff, it still goes blah, 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 and it takes off, where the oil injected one snaps right to life. And even like after a long downhill, just the throttle response is crisper because it does what you wish you could do.
Now, have you ever accidentally put premix in the tank on one with oil injection?
I haven't done it accidentally. I've actually had a little bit of two-stroke gas laying around and poured it in there, but not enough to make a difference. So I'm sure from experience you may be able to educate me on what happens when you do this.
My first experience was, I'm thinking like, I run premix in 4-strokes all the time because I'm lazy. This should go
I
the
do
same
too,
way,
yeah.
right? It does not go the same way.
So it over oil injects. It doubles
Yeah, you
doubles
would
down.
think, because if you run, 20-1 and 50-1 oil mix, you hardly notice the difference. So if it's doubled up on oil, you wouldn't think it would matter. But no,
Huh.
it matters.
You know how everybody thinks I only like KTM's and Husabergs and stuff?
Yeah.
I'm gonna prove them wrong. Put that way up on the high end. That's a good bike. No, higher. A little bit more. That's right there. Yeah, there we go. It's the highest non KTM or Husaberg product, except for that Yamaha TT 500. So that's a good bike.
I think that's the highest one.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
It surpassed? Okay, good. That's how it works here. Okay, what's that? I can't get the thing on.
Todd Kelly.
Todd Kelly. I think Todd Kelly is a regular listener to this show. Actually, I know that he is because he has asked me Christini questions in the past, and this is a 16 Christini 450 dual sport. He's got a Recluse in it. He has a Seat Concepts. Is this Matt? You know how you're going to go for sponsors?
Yeah, yeah.
What company do we need to reach out to sponsor
Seat
this?
Concepts.
Yeah, they'd better sponsor it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We've been saying their name so many times.
Right. Replace the Electron EFI with the newer Delphi EFI system. This is how I know. This is how I know Todd, because I helped him a little bit with some stuff. We talked about it, but I'm not helping Todd because I have the chip, the hacked chip to be able to write code to that ECU. I have it. It costs like a lot of money to get it. It was shipped from like Kyrgyzstan or someplace where they hack this stuff, and I haven't worked on it yet. Added CRF brakes and rear shock. That's really good. And he did a total rebuild, which it looks like it, right? See that?
So what motor is in that?
So it's a 100% knockoff of a CRF 450X. But it's more of a CRF 450 actually. So the way you would look at this bike is it's a fuel injected CRF 450X with the all-wheel drive system, and the all-wheel drive system is pretty bulletproof. They've really got this working, so you don't have too many problems with any of that stuff. But it's an Asia Wing, a 450 Honda knockoff, kind of like what was the other company that was here for a while that was SSR. Yeah, so it's kind of like an SSR, and but Christini did a pretty good job of getting some stuff done. And then when they evolved into the fuel injection, because they were selling them to the military, they even kind of went a step up. But he's fixed kind of like one of the main weak links, which is the brakes. You know, just going to the Honda brakes makes a big change. That guy's got some pride of ownership in that thing. He's got John 316 on the swing arm. Amen. He's got it going out there for the man above. He's riding for the man above. That's a pretty cool thing, and he's got I don't know which shock he has on it. I think he has the good shock. But you could replace every part inside that motor with Honda parts.
I had an SSR 450 for quite a while, and there's nothing wrong with it. The problem is, I think that everyone gets those and then they start replacing them piece by piece with Honda parts until they are a Honda.
Until it's a Honda.
Jeff Willow raced one for
I remember
for years. So.
Yeah, I remember seeing he was big on their pit bikes for a while. So yeah, they're it's heavy. The chassis is pretty heavy. But it's a really good trail bike. This is make a really good trail bike. Goes right here someplace, right about here. Pretty nice. So that's our Ron. That's our segment of Rooster Endo. Thanks for sticking around for that. You provided some insight. Now that I know you have a 1967 Suzuki in your garage. Yeah, that could be horrifying. So when are you going to buy? Trevor wanted to know when you're going to buy Dirt Bike Test from us. Because that was really the point of this call, to kind of put you on point there, because it's.
I would like to buy a position there. I'll pay you to work there. Mostly because I want the T-shirt.
Oh.
Promised me a T-shirt 6 years ago at an intro. I've been waiting in the mail.
Probably did. We're on really low supply on the T-shirts. I gave one away, but she's size small, right? Yeah. So you'd look pretty good if we kind of cut the sleeves off like we do. Sometimes make it into like a V-neck, maybe. I'll get you one. I promise.
No.
I'll get you the T-shirt. But yeah, we can pay you in T-shirts.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that an option? Because right now I'm getting paid in Plus products.
Plus products. What's
Plus
that?
Products. Yeah, that was the Super Hunky line of dirt bike merchandise.
Oh, was Hunky on the merch before everybody?
Hunky had a T-shirt that I bought. I bought when I was 13 years old or 14 when I first started reading dirt bike. He had a picture of his face with the big handlebar mustache.
Yeah.
Silk screened onto a sweatshirt, and it said Super Hunky, and I thought that was cool.
I wonder if he was doing that on his own, like before Roland had it.
Well, he was there before Roland started.
Yeah. So was that his merch line outside of the magazine, and he probably actually advertised in the magazine about his stuff, or
Could be. Could be. I mean, you'd have to ask him.
He'll still sell you. He'll still sell you lots of stuff. Like he sell right.
There's lots of copies of Monkey Butt, I think, available.
Yeah, best bet. I'm working on writing Monkey Butt 2 right now as we speak. I mean, it's probably a 6-year journey, but I am writing Monkey Butt 2. It's Monkey Butt 2, the death of motorcycle journalism, which
Logan has no idea who Super Hunky is.
Did you see in the book? It's been on this table before, right?
Yeah.
Did you read it?
No.
You don't read.
Well, I read that Grand Prix one, but that was only I looked at the pictures.
Oh, right.
Was-
Monkey Butt doesn't have a lot of pictures, but it has really big type, really easy to read for old people. But yeah, I played a collective role in the death of motorcycle journalism, so I feel like I can. Rick gave me permission to write Monkey Butt 2. I asked him. He said it was good. I could do it. So I'll tell that story about sitting in my first Dirt Bike Magazine editorial meeting.
Was Hunky there?
Yeah, he was the one that stood up for me. That's how the book opens. I have the first chapter written. This is how the book opens. Is when Roland was asking me, not asking me, he was asking Tim or Joe because I didn't exist. I wasn't supposed to be there, so I didn't exist. He was asking Tim or Joe if they just invited guests into the editorial meeting, and Rick literally had just walked in, and he goes, Chief, he goes, you know who this guy is? And he knew my resume. He knew who I was, and he knew all this stuff. And he's like, he told him it was an honor to have someone of my racing credibility in that room right now. And I was like, whoa, I was kind of blown away. And
You were like 15?
I was like, no, I had to been like 16 or 17 because I drove there. So I was, and I submitted a check, an expense report for $46, like at the end of my my 1 month intern, which actually turned into about 3 because they just kept abusing me. But he wouldn't pay it.
I remember reading like in the mid 90s and maybe into the 2000s that you were a Dirt Bike at intern. I remember reading that in Dirt Bike, or maybe I wrote it.
Yeah, you wrote it. Yeah, it was usually somehow a picture would surface of me doing something stupid, and then it would say former dirt bike intern, and then it would identify me doing whatever the stupidity was. It was in one of those sections in the magazines where we make jokes about people.
Yeah.
Thank God there.
Lots of pictures in the snow, I think.
Yeah, thank God there wasn't Crash and Burn magazine anymore. So hey, well, Ron, thanks for joining us. Now you can contact Trevor at your convenience. He's got all the paperwork drawn up for the sale of Dirt Bike Test because that's
Okay,
the only
checks in the mail.
that's the only reason we started this up was to sell it off. It's a one of those what is it when you grow businesses or do that business
It
stuff?
will be a hostile takeover, I think.
A hostile takeover. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know you guys got pissed off because of the name. That was, we just said what we were. We didn't try to copy anything. We didn't steal your font or any of the other stuff. But
The word dirt bike was never used before we invented it. So I think that we own it.
oh, it's like trademarked or
Trademark.
or-
Super Hunky invented the word. Yeah.
Well, we got to go talk to Rick about that. So awesome having you on the show. Thanks for adding a little bit of expertise to this shit show. We're gonna go on. We got to answer our questions from YouTube. We have what else do we have to do?
We have another segment that is kind of new.
I told you about this the other day. We have a segment where Logan opens up boxes. We're actually running kind of long. We might not get to the box opening. We could. You never know. You like opening boxes, right? Did you practice this week?
No.
You didn't practice because I wanted this segment to really go off. I wanted it to be better.
Yeah.
So you can't see this. It's super top secret because I know you guys would steal it and you'd probably put it in your magazine and then we'd be, we pioneered this whole segment because kids make $30 million on YouTube doing this. So that's where we're going. Okay, Ron, thanks for joining us.
Thanks very
Everybody
much.
say bye to Ron. We'll see what yeah. A lot of people answered his questions for him, didn't they? On the chat. I didn't have a chance to look over there. I was too busy trying to make Logan talk. So
Yeah.
okay, Ron, we'll see you.